All right, welcome back. We are here with Gangsters versus. We are here back with Gangsters versus Illumination Valiant for our second game of tonight. Will be our second game of the Bronze Silver League. Illumination are coming off of a win over Frost Wolves, while Gangsters are going to be playing the first game of tonight. So we'll see if Illumination Valiant can bring that momentum into the second game. However, Illumination Valiant are actually going to be losing two bans because they're using a jungle E-sub Charizard AZ. I don't know, dude. It's whatever. But speaking of which, I am here with Canadian on the caster desk.
Yes, hello. Sorry, I couldn't really hear you on Discord, so I listened to the stream and I hear you talking, so I decided to try to fix stuff on my end. Yeah, I heard that there is two bands not being allowed to be picked on the side of Illumination, correct?
Illumination Valiant. Yep.
Yes. Um, which, like we said last game, where there's only one that was missed. It always hurts. It always hurts when you let your opponents get a strong pick that you're not able to ban at the time. Yeah.
Definitely. It doesn't let you ban some of the picks, especially with Ivelia still being on the table. Camille and Leona being taken off. Glim is a pretty decent Leona, and Camille might be more of versus Zerfax, and should be interesting. And that Jin ban is actually pretty ironic due to the fact that it was actually played last game. Actually, even Camille. Zerfax played Camille last game in the win, and Jin was played by the Dens. So both those bands, maybe just more of a research coming out from Gangsters. So really nice coming out. Mundo's gonna be the last band coming. Actually, the only band coming out from Illumination Valiant, but very strong pick. But I do feel like I should note that Aurelia is still on the table, and I wonder if these teams can pick them up.
Now, what do you think about, out of all the champions you could have banned, why choose Mundo?
Mundo's a very strong top laner, though I guess we're not picking him up now. But he's a very strong top laner, definitely. I don't think he is as ban-worthy as Ivelia, but I do think that perhaps Illumination had done the research. Nobody on Gangsters plays Ivelia, so to just opt to ban the Mundo, and Kisame is just going to go for the Renekton. So looking to be a very dominant. I watched this guy last week. He's a very dominant top laner, likes to snowball the top lane, and has to have a good matchup, though. So that's why I picked into the Renekton. But
okay, interesting. Oh, is this an Anivia? I love Anivia.
He probably is going to pick up Anivia. Fishing for Honor is a very proficient Anivia player. He plays it basically every game that he can if it's a good matchup. So I feel like he's probably just going to pick up the Anivia here. But ooh, he's also an Oriana player, but he's a very control magey player. So it's a guy about the Oriana.
I have played Anivia for probably a year and a half of just Anivia. So I'm always so excited to see her either in LCS or in any game to see how she plays. Sadly, she won't be here as one of my first games to cast, sadly.
Yeah, but definitely we're going to go into the second ban phase. No, AD carry has been only picked on Illumination side, while not Gangster. So I do think either AD carry or support will be banned out from Illumination as Bomb is being taken off the table. Otherwise, it is Gangsters being just kind of going LCS order. Brand's taken off the table by Illumination due to the fact that Brand Bottling has been rising in popularity and becoming very strong. It is actually very dirty, too.
Yeah. I mean, to just be level 1 or 2 and have a long stun and then have basically an ignite from Brand just by a passive is not fun to have when you're in a two-person lane.
Yeah, I mean, especially with some combos such as Morgana, and I do think Nami is a pretty good pick. Though not that I guess famous, but otherwise we are going to see the jungler going to be picked up by Chazara, and it is going to be the Warwick. Something very interesting to face the Trundle. I do not think Trundle will still probably have the advantage in this jungle, but still not that bad of a pick overall. Really good, kind of all-around pick, being able to do most things in jungle, very proficient. But really interesting to see that we're seeing Caitlyn and Misfortune being picked up with Israel Israel Kaisa and a bunch of other AD carries being up on the table. Lucian as for one. So I guess these are more comfort picks. The Dens, I know he does play a lot of good Misfortune. I haven't seen much of Z Wiles, so his Caitlyn must be pretty okay if he's putting that much confidence into it. But we're actually going to be seeing our first Shen support.
Yeah. Oh, yes, it is. Looks like they just picked their own champion. It's not going to be doing anything fancy or switching anything around.
No, definitely.
They decided to just, a lot of these fancy teams trying to pick like an AD carry first, but we don't really want to do that. We want to stick to how it is in draft and just pick what you want to play and then have everyone else worry about what they're going to play.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of more of the thing where you just want to be picking your own champion, being able to pick who you're comfortable with and not being restricted to just the draft. And we're going to see Zyra as the last pick for Grim, who Grim is more of kind of a mage support player. He plays a lot of Morgana, Zyra, stuff as those sorts. So Zyra is up his alleyway, really good with Misfortune as well with the root comboed into bullet time. So really deadly lane in this bot lane. Especially since Shen is going to be picked up by Sad Panda, and Shen not really going to do much in this lane, unfortunately, unless he gets close.
Yeah, especially with the root that Zyra has and the slows that Misfortune and Zyra both have, or Zyra doesn't have slows, but the slows that Misfortune has, not going to be really fun with the obvious two range versus ranged and melee bot lanes. Cannot see it going very well at least in the early levels. Should be pushed in by a lot. Illumination should be pushing in a lot in the bottom lane as long as no junglers interfere with that plan.
Yeah, well, with these kind of roles being locked in, we do see some adaptations. With the Summoner spells, Rise is going to pick up the teleport, while Fishing is going to pick up the heal, and both supports are going to be taking exhaust. So heal in the mid lane for Fishing for Honor is going to be quite interesting. I'm not too big of a fan of it. I would prefer more of maybe teleport or cleanse so he doesn't get CC'd by maybe the Rune Prison or maybe the Trundle Pillar. I guess you really can't cleanse the Trundle Pillar, but Renekton has the stun, Shen has the taunt, Caitlyn has the traps, so not sure. Heal does give him kind of a little bit survivability with the low damage coming out from Rune Mage. But otherwise, it is going to be a little bit weird later in the game when they're just going to burst him down through the heal.
Yeah. Also having on the side of Geynksters, what do you think of having only one AP source on that team? That's very AD heavy. Wonder if that's going to be a factor for them later on.
Yeah, I mean, they're very AD heavy, of course, but I mean, Rise does do a decent amount of AP damage, especially if Mage is able to play him right, but that also does allow Illumination Valiant, especially with two tanks, one tank and a bruiser, to mainly focus on armor instead of everything else. Rise, if they do take out Rise in the either put him behind in the early game or just take him out very early in these fights. So perhaps Illumination Valiant are okay with this draft. Otherwise, they do have a solid team comp put through. They have a lot of good AoE spells, the Ornhorn, the Shockwave, and basically Zyra's kit, plus the bullet time. Really good for AoE, good for team fighting. So otherwise, Geynksters all more kind of split push heavy, kind of siege heavy, with Rise being wave clear with the Realm Warp, Caitlyn having the traps, and Renekton just being a good split push overall, Trundle being in there as well, if you want to say that. So very different team comps from what we've seen last game.
Yeah. So again, I mean, last game it was very protect one player and try to do the most damage through them. And this side we see two different strategies. Have you had like any experience with where there's two different strategies? Do you know like which one is usually the one that comes out on top, or how does a certain team magnify their strategy to come out on top of the win?
Yeah, most of the time when you have two different comps, the one that's easier to execute usually comes out on top. So in that case, it would be Illumination Valiant. But this is going to be very dependent on execution, how these teams play, because Illumination Valiant, it's not very hard to play an AoE comp. You just kind of team fight a lot and then press buttons, you know. But otherwise, Gangsters are going to have more trouble against the team comp of Illumination Valiant, who can engage on them very heavily. So when they're trying to split push and they're trying to do like 1v1 or 1-4, it's going to be very hard for them to like stay not for them to stay safe, not getting caught. It's going to be very hard for them, especially since they don't have too much reliable CC and not much wave clear in the early game. So if they do get behind, they're going to have a pretty bad time.
Also, I'd like to say before the game starts, I'm sorry if I messed up to people watching. This is my first time, second game streaming, first stream casting. So might strip up on some words like I just did there. But it's all a learning process. We're here to have fun and just try to give the best experience possible for the people playing.
Yeah, so as we're going to be loading into the game, we do see the keystones. Nothing too out of the ordinary. I've seen a little bit of
Misfortune? Is that?
Yeah, it's a little bit of variation. Some people prefer Comet, some people prefer Conqueror. I do think that Aerie is a little bit better because they are looking to poke out this lane and match the poke of Caitlyn. Stay out of her range. They're not really looking towards the later of the game. The Dens doesn't really need Conqueror for extra damage in the later of the game because Fishing for Honor and Grim Labo have his back at the damage kind of point, so not looking too bad. Aerie's just for more lane, just to help out, dominate the lane, especially with Grim being just a Zyra, auto pushing the lane, so.
I'm sorry, did I cut out?
I don't know. It's, but Fishing for Honor, already showing us how to play Orianna, buys the starting items, not too bad. But otherwise, we are going to see the fact that, we actually did see a small difference in start by the Dens. He was going to pick up the Dawn's Wing, opts to take the Dawn's Blade instead for the damage instead of just sustaining in the lane. Otherwise, nothing else is very too out of the ordinary. Most of these guys starting just the regular starts that you start in the jungle. In the beginning of the game at least. So.
Looks like we might have no. So I was wondering where people are seeing Orianna. Trying to figure out where the jungle is actually starting. It's always hard to figure that out, and you always want to figure that out over the opponents to try to track the jungler and figure out where he'll be entering lanes from. That's the main reason. The main way to get advantages is to figure out where the jungler is and to stay safe from it.
That's also why we do see a pause coming in Grim Lava. A little bit unfortunate, but that's also why we do see Chazalaz in the mid lane trying to decide where he wants to start, in the red side or in the blue side. So I do think he's actually going to opt for the red side as he's walking there doing this pause. So.
Yeah. I wish we could always know why there was a pause, but never really has to be told to everyone. It's okay. Looks like controls aren't working maybe? What I see in the chat.
Yeah. It is a technical issue. He'll probably be back after V connects, but otherwise, these lanes are probably going to be, as you would guess, the top lane is probably just going to be very in favor of the Benekton, who's very dominant in lane, though ZFX does have his chance to fight back once he gets a few items, does get a few kind of abilities, so really nice. That's why Ornn is very strong. Otherwise, in the jungle, it is going to be going over to Cho'Gath due to the fact that he's really great jungle, really great dueling potential. But I do think Chazalaz can have good ganking potential, especially following up on some of the CC that his laners have. I think the mid lane. Yep.
Looks like we're going to get back into the game now. Looks like still just going to wait for minis to spawn, and looks like it's going to finally get to the middle. In the mid lane, they're finally going to meet, and the minions will clash, and the game will begin. And point damage is going to be happening.
Yeah, I mean, mid lane's probably just going to be a fun fest. Both these guys not really looking to fight. Really, the only thing that can tip this is the junglers. And in the bot lane, this is more going to be on the duos, kind of how they're going to be playing together. I mean, Caitlyn's very strong, but so is Zyra Misfortune. That is a very oppressive lane with the Comet Ares. So, yeah, we're going to have to see who plays the lane better. It's going to be more of lane knowledge and kind of just execution more than anything.
Yeah. Looks like there's going to be a little meeting of Warwick and Trundle fighting over that Rift Scuttle right away. not much is going to come from in Trundle. With the higher dueling potential you mentioned, is going to be the one to take over that Rift Scuttler.
Yeah, in the bot lane, we're already seeing Illumination's bot lane take over this bot lane by doing more poke damage to the enemy bot lane, though they are going to heal that up with potions, but this bot lane has already been kind of determined by the amount of poke that the Dens and Glim have, so playing extremely well already.
Yeah. Looks like we're going to try to get a little vision in the enemy jungle. Like going to back up just after that and take the other Rift Scuttler as he loses one. Let's just grab the other side.
Yeah, so the first dragon of this game will be Mountain Drake, which is very good, especially for the side of Geynksters, due to the fact that they have the Caitlyn, have the Ryze who want to be sieging down and taking objectives using their abilities, so that Mountain Drake might be on the eyes of Childoi, who has shown that he has an advantage in this early game.
Oh, Caitlyn getting poked out down to a little around 150 health is not what you want to see. At least early in the game, but going to be healing a little bit back up from the rune from that speed footwork. A little bit every time. Try to do as much as he can.
But we already do see kind of the jungling difference between Chazaruz and Childoi. Childoi are able to back and get some items. Oh my god, zero effects.
Yeah, I saw that. It was really, really intense. What's happening here? All right. Oh man, so close. Caitlyn and MF solo. Looks like they're just gonna back off a little bit. Gonna try to fight for the next one. Try to heal up, get the next engage, and come out on top of the next one. But Caitlyn gonna be recalling right there. Be coming back with around 600 gold. I'm not really sure much they can buy with that one, except for just a pair of boots. Not really helping much in the damage column of the lane, but not what you can do when you're around 100 health in a double range matchup. But Ornn doing huge amount of damage to Renekton.
Yeah,
just
and
click all three abilities and he does so much damage to the Renekton.
Wow,
that should be such a lane bully.
So the top lane is the fact that Ornn actually has a pretty nice early game. It's the reason why Ornn is so strong. And a very strong pick is because he has insane base damages and he can actually match this. I've seen this matchup a few times, and though Renekton is perceived to do more damage and have the dominant lane focus, Zerfax does have kind of the farming. When he gets a few gold, he can always buy a few items, and every time Kisame tries to go in, he's able to just get a shield, block half the damage that Kisame does, and just turn back with all of his damage. But
and that's just it. He also can just buy items in lane if he runs out of mana. Just no problem. This is also gonna be really annoying with Renekton, having to recall, having to TP back as Ornn is just continuously adding pressure to his lane.
But we also see this dominant bot lane coming out from Dens and Glim Labo. They've already pushed Z Wiles out of lane already, and they've actually also pushed out Childoi out of the lane, half HPing him. Sad Panda already in a dangerous spot. If honestly, this is where I would wish Glim Labo had Ignite, but they're just gonna keep poking them down, and there's not much that Z Wiles and Sad Panda can do as they're already 10 CS down.
Yeah. Again, Shen trying to do something, trying to EN, get the taunt off, but instantly he missed it, and he's gonna get paid for it. But Chazaruz taking out the controller to the tri-bush in the bot lane, and try to get dove on by the Trundle and the Shen. He's gonna be a few damage, gonna be inside Shen's W, not gonna take any auto attack damage. That's gonna be a first blood on the side of Geynksters.
Yeah, I mean, it was Chazaruz looking a little bit confident, seeing that his bot lane was pushed up, and then just trying to push too far, was separated from his bot lane by that giant wall, and ended up just dying for it, looking a little bit too confident. Actually, finally caught up to Childoi, and now he's going to be fall behind again now that he's died, and ooh, bot lane.
Right, getting a little flash from out from NF. Also a huge amount of damage going off. 2 on the Trundle, but Grim gonna pay for it. Gonna take that kill off. Also, Renekton, after all the damage being done to him, he gets his ult, takes out Ornn, and now it's gonna be that lane is gonna be in favor of Renekton for the next few minutes.
And What happened bot lane was the fact that when you try to gank a Zyra's entire kit is based around you trying to chase her down and then her kiting you, and that's just what happened. Childoi tried to get on Zyra, who unfortunately did burn flash, but well, actually it was the Dens, but and then they just DPS'd him down and luckily was able to. And Fishing for Honor doing his best impression of last game's Orianna.
Chazarez trying to run after the Ryze, but Ryze going to be using his ult to get out of the river and survive that gank. Trying his best.
Well, Fishing for Honor is doing his best impression of last game's Orianna. Not doing too great on those ultis, but otherwise Zerafex did get killed in the top lane due to the fact that he actually didn't back. And you can only buy so many items to help you in the lane, and he should have backed to use a TP. And once again, we're going to see him have a dominant top lane, but it was just a mistake coming out from Zerafex.
Which is such a shame too. But also you mentioned Orianna from last game. I think the main difference was probably that he bought items at the beginning.
Yeah, that was a pretty big jump.
Yeah, he did buy the Doran's ring, so he did lose 450 gold at the beginning. He was able to stay in lane as long as possible. Is this pause and I frozen right now?
No. But otherwise, we do see a 12 CS in advantage in the bot lane for the Dens, while it's 10 CS in the top lane, though that might change with a gank on the top lane.
Right.
Childoi looking to get some damage, but is only level 5, not able to kill Zerafex yet, and does get some good damage off, relieve some pressures from Kisame.
Landing a taunt, Zyra, it's MF ult be coming out, trying to kill the Caitlyn, and Caitlyn can be taken out as Shen was the one to engage and is paying for it. Warg also coming down the river, unstoppable, gonna be all the way down to 0 health. That's gonna be 2 kills in the bot lane. That's gonna take the lead and get a little bit of damage on the tower as well. But I would think that you would want to go for the Mount Drake here though.
Yeah, I mean, they probably could, but otherwise they're probably just going to look for the pushing advantage on this turret, look for a little bit of damage, but they're actually going to go for the dragon as you have stated. But that gank did happen due to the fact that the Dens and Glim Lava are once again still an oppressive pair, still very strong with each other, and just were able to take down 2v2 their laners, and Chazala is just coming in for that kill as well, just getting some help on that. But ooh.
Oh, right. Flashing over a wall, getting a stun, but Orianna gonna get her ult, also flashing away. Gonna stop Ryze on his drive, but Shen ulting it onto Ryze. Ryze taking out the Orianna. It's gonna be 1 kill in the favor of Geynksters, but the Dragon also be taking out with the Geynksters. And MF gonna be taken out by Shen. And Shen gonna try to run after the Auric and Zyra, but they're gonna escape with their lives with such low health.
That was all just because Illumination Valiant did not make the right decision in time. They had a limited amount of time to get that dragon after they double killed bot lane, and then they just took too long. And then when they tried to do something about it, they ended up just getting caught in the top lane. We're gonna see some fighting.
They're gonna call in his ult, but not gonna have much happen as Renekton also uses ult. But he's gonna escape with his life. He's gonna finally back off and get a full back, but no he's not. He's gonna get those last minions, hope the Renekton doesn't kill him. Gonna try to get out now as he's right back. He's gonna finally recall after seeing those minions. The last little bit of gold that he could.
Yeah, and this all is just a chain of events. That was because Childoi ganked top lane, chunked out Zerafex, and has been leaning on little HP in this top lane for the longest of time, and now is going to lose the lane to Kisame, who has caught up on CS. So, chain of events is happening, but Kisame is still behind on items. Only has that coal. Actually has 2,000 gold to back and spend, so he's probably going to be backing, spend that gold, and then come back and lane very strong.
Alright. Well, I don't know what to say. Warriors up in top lane, trying to see if he could get the... was going to be backing off. Might be heading down to mid lane as Trundle is also on the Raptors. Might be set up for a counter gank. Warwick places the control ward in the bush, which alerts Ryze that he's there. Not much is going to come from that.
Otherwise, we do see some fighting in the bot lane, but...
Oh, Shen gonna jump in, get the taunt on MF, but not much damage is gonna come through as Caitlyn is so far away. But Trundle coming in, gonna try to land a pillar, gonna be perfectly placed, but MF can turn around, get it onto Shen. He's gonna be taken out. Trundle down to 300 health. Just need to chase after him. I got dragged out of it. Not going to be much more happening as Shen. Kind of jumping in a little bit too far, and MF paying him for it as he lands the ult and takes him out. That is now going to be a very close gold lead. Caitlyn ult can be coming in. Caitlyn was able to save it, but too much is happening right now in the mid lane as Warwick gets an easy kill onto Rise as he uses stopwatch in lane, but able to dodge Orion's ult but not able to dodge his death.
Yeah, and what happened in the bot lane was just, oh, never mind, more stuff is happening in the bot lane.
Oh, Trundle running around trying to get a flank onto MF. He escaped once, but will she escape again? Looks like she will as she uses her passive to run away fast enough so Trundle cannot catch up.
Yeah, and that's just what's gonna happen. I mean, the kill on the Shen happened just because of the AoE from the Dens and Grimlava were able to shut down just a Shen that only built armor and not a magic resist. Also, in the mid lane, that was a gank that was just waiting to happen with two ultis that are displacing the mid mage, and without flash, he's just gonna die. And then last kill was a little bit of a mistake. Coming out, Grimlava wasn't able to come behind the Dens and block the ulti, so unfortunate for him otherwise. But fighting in the top lane.
Said, like, gonna be coming up there, but he doesn't have an ult. I think he's gonna double dash away and he's gonna be making it out safe. But Shen ult's gonna be coming through on the top lane, but not really sure what's gonna be happening. He's gonna be walking back.
That was
down.
a
Maybe
really
get the Rift Herald.
bad Shen ulti. Now they're gonna take first to it.
Yeah, a sure start going down in the bottom lane. Maybe getting a kill onto Caitlyn, but Caitlyn gonna be jumping away and gonna be saving with her life. But might get Rift Herald for it, we'll see.
Yeah, so this is probably gonna have no contention as Charizard is just happily farming, but it's gonna get picked up by Trundle. Probably gonna be placing it, I would say maybe in the top lane where Kisame needs the advantage, but otherwise, I don't really agree with this build from the mid mage. Picking up the Archangel staff so he can stack it fast. If he is going for the Rod of Ages, he probably should have gone for that first, but because then he needs the Rod of Ages to start stacking. But otherwise, if he's not going for that, then I guess the free stacking of the tier is really nice.
Yeah. I do wonder what he will build if he doesn't. He might build the Abyssal Mask, which does also come from the Catalyst. I don't know what else will come, but it's going to be a lane swap on the side of Illumination because they did get that bot turret. We'll see what Renekton can do about this. Looks like the bottom lane from Geynksters is going to be matching it as well.
I'm gonna see the Dens pick up the Duskblade just for raw damage to get that Duskblade passive and clear wards, but not sure if it's the best option here, especially when the movement speed from Yomu's Ghostblade is really nice, but otherwise in the mid lane.
But Ward being spotted out, but not much gonna become because of that, but fleeing. I was gonna have to flee away, and not much is gonna happen. Ward's just gonna run in, fear Rise, and Orion's gonna kill him.
Yeah.
Seemed pretty textbook to me.
Yeah, and that's happened twice this match. Moonmage had flash up, but just didn't bother to use it, and now it's gonna die 2 times in a row to the same exact gank. So, not looking a little bit rusty on this kind of on this champion that his name is kind of after.
Looks like somebody might be coming in from the mid lane as the Rift Herald is dropped, but Orion and Ornn are gonna punish him for it. And they're gonna push him away as he doesn't get any more damage onto the tower. Herald will do a large chunk onto that tier 1. Or we're gonna be flashing out. Renekton chasing after him at the Luba on the red team. So he's gonna try to back out from there, get dragged out of it. But the Warwick ult gonna come in at the last second, gonna be suppressing Renekton. Renekton gonna be ulting to save it. Warwick ult coming in, gonna take out Renekton, and it's gonna be only Trundle against the world, and the world will overcome him. And the Wolf gonna be the one to get a double kill and hopefully get the Mountain Drake for it, as there's no one else that seems to be around to contest it. But on the other side, thankfully, something was able to happen, and Rise is going to be able to come up to the top lane and get a double kill on the Caitlyn Zyra bottom lane.
So that entire fight happened bot lane due to the fact that the Wind Mage was both farming in the mid lane and trying to go top lane for a gank on the aggressive Dens and Grimlaba. They're going to get a turret for their troubles, but going to lose, I think, 3 members of the team just for it. No, 2 members, sorry. So it's a 2-for-2 trade, and a Mountain Drake and a tower being traded, but they're going to give the 2 kills to Moon Mage, which is much needed, especially on a champion who's trying to scale, picks up the Catalyst with that gold, but does not even have boots yet. So the amount of roaming slash movement speed that he'll have is very minimal. Same goes for Kisame, which is why Kisame couldn't escape that last fight. So the skipping the boots to go for more damage, but might be the downfall. Moon Mage is actually gonna, yeah, Moon Mage's build is actually going to reflect the fact that he's going Rod of Ages, so it's going to be a very late Rod of Ages that he's going to be start stacking, and I'm not sure if that's the thing that you want to be doing in a game like this.
So you usually want to start with your tier, and then go into Rod of Ages, then continue your tier build, just so that you maximize the amount of time you're stacking your tier and stacking your Rod of Ages. But hey, that's not what happened in this game. So you gotta figure out what to do with it.
Yep. Otherwise, we're just gonna see a reset in this game. Not much is gonna happen. With Baron is spawning in 130, but I don't think either team wants to go for it. Not that far ahead and too risky. Gold is almost dead even, so these fights are probably going to be changing this game and be the kind of the swing in one team's favor.
I was gonna say where, Orianna ult heading onto 2 people along with the MF ult, but gonna escape from that. Gonna be suppressed underneath the tower by Warwick. Warwick gonna be getting some turret shots, but finally gonna escape. But Shen, that is not gonna be for free, as Shen gonna be taking it out. Also coming up from the bottom lane, Renekton gonna be dove onto by 4 players, and Zyra gonna be the one to take the kill on Renekton. Looks like they might just shift their pressure back onto the mid tier 1, as they're now have 2 people dead on the side of Geynksters, and it looks like it's gonna be a free turret on Illumination.
Yeah, and that's just how it goes, especially with all the damage and AoE. Once again, Illumination, Valiant have really good team fighting, have really good 3v3, 4v4, 5v5, and they're just going to be able to run them down with all the damage that they have. And Kisame, which is caught in the rotation trying to defend the turret, took the risky way and ended up dying for it. So
I always want to figure out, is the risky way worth it, just to get there a little bit faster, but in that case it was not, as he paid his life for it. Right now still not much of a difference in golds. Both have Mountain Drakes, both only have, actually no, red team just did get, Illumination just did get their second turret, but the mid tier 2 on the side, the mid tier 1 on the side of Illumination also looking very low, so it can be easily taken as well.
yeah, and that's just a pocket of gold for Geynksters to cash in, but the question is, are they going to be able to take it from Illumination's hands? And the answer is probably going to be no for a while, especially when they're 2k down. Probably not going to be looking for anything big, but Illumination, Valiant looking to close this game as fast as they can.
Well, let's see, finally, Rod's going to be getting that Rod of Ages, and hopefully that'll stack quick. If the game does go until 30 minutes, then he'll have it. He'll get the full value out of it, but we'll wait until we wait to see if it does last that long. But again, not much happening in this game. I mean, there is happening. There's been 17 kills in 20 minutes, but not much coming from the kills at this point. But finally, there is going to be the tier 1 turret on the side of Illumination going to be falling as well. Oh my goodness, bottom lane, we MF ulting in onto Shen and Renekton, but not going to be able to do anything for it. Shen ulting it onto the Trundle, and Zyra can be taken out. So it's me, Caitlyn can be falling on the side of Geynksters. But on the other side, mid lane, people are dying all over the place. It's going to be 3 people taking out Ryze. Ryze tried to ult away, but not going to be doing it either. And they might get that tier 2 mid turret for their troubles. There's a lot happening there.
Yeah, once again, 2 for 2 traded for both sides. Denza and Grimlaba being very less than bot lane get punished for it, but rather the same thing happens to the Moon Mage and Z Wiles, and They might pay the mid lane turret for it, but I don't think they're gonna get it. So ZY was trying to get the mid lane outer turret, was able to successfully get that, even up the gold a little bit, still 1k gold down, but otherwise, now the gold is even with that bot lane outer turret being taken. But
Yeah.
so I do think Geynksters did get the better trade out of that fight, but pressure is still on them.
Yeah, and it seems like you said before, Renekton is the one they want to get their gold onto. Now it's like he has over 1,000 gold lead over the Ornn, and really over everyone else in the game. He has 800 gold lead over the next person, which is MF. And it looks like he might be showing it here in a 2v1 against the MF, just gonna be auto attacking over and over again onto MF. Hopefully the next it will hit him, as Rise is also coming up from the mid lane, but Yomu's gonna take him out, but looks like she's gonna run away, and Zyra gonna be dying for it, but dropping her off, but not gonna gain anything from it. Trundle coming up from the tri-bush, but Caitlyn gonna be taking out MF that's such low health. It's gonna be 3 people trying to take out that Ornn. I mean, Caitlyn launching auto attacks, gonna get closer and closer, gonna get rotated by the trap. Orianna and Warwick coming in, gonna land a two Orianna ults, and also Ornn ults, gonna be knocking up 2 people. Ornn gonna be taking out Trundle. Rise gonna take out Warwick on the other side. And it's gonna be back to 3-on-2, still fighting in the top lane. It's like Orianna gonna be taunted, gonna take a lot of damage by being stuck still there. Man, there's a lot of action.
That originally started with the Dens and Glim Labo getting caught out once again. They were trying to push this top lane turret with no turret to fall back to, and ended up getting caught for it, and started that chain of events. That's a 1-for-2 trade, I think 1-for-3 trade actually, in favor of Geynksters, and they're looking poised to take back this. And now they have a small lead, but it's a lead nonetheless.
Yeah, and they're also just paying down to head down to Mountain Drake, try to take their lead somewhere to get objectives. It's like they've set their sights on one of them.
Yeah. This Drake is now going to be spawning probably the next point of action. It is going to be a Mountain Drake, very important, but it is going to get started by Geynksters, and this is probably going to be a fight that we're going to be looking for.
Yeah, Warwick trying to see how he can get in there and get that smite off. Going to be down at 1,000 health, but not going to be taken as MF being rooted. Quadruple ult by Orianna with the MF ult also coming in. Just gonna be cleanup by Warwick. That was an amazing ult by Orianna, followed with the cleanup by MF. Wow, that was amazing. Blue team got the Mount Drake, but red team says, you know what? You guys got a Drake, but we got some kills, and they get 4 of them.
Yeah, and after this, they might be looking for this mid-inner turret. That was the team comp of Illumination Valiant showing very well. And the AoE and the CC damage coming out from the comp is just too great, and they're just going to get the late ace for the team. It's actually a clean ace for the team, and they might be looking to take this inhib turret. Might like not have the damage. Yeah, will have the damage to do it, and they might rotate back to Baron.
So that's all. The people that they originally took out are back alive, and looks like Ornn is going to be taking out, do a little damage to that tier 2, but it seems like Illumination is setting their sights on at least Vision of Baron, maybe actually taking it themselves. But now Geynksters has seen the power of Illumination, and that just might make them ready for it, the next team fight, and actually watch out for that Orianna ball.
Yeah, they just have to keep doing the exact same thing that was getting them back in this game. They're now 5k gold behind, and that large differential was just off of that one fight that they misplayed, and they were only 2k gold behind a few minutes ago, and then it went to 0, and then they had the lead because they kept catching out the Dens and Glim Labo, punishing them for pushing ahead. They have combined almost half the deaths on the team, so you can kind of see what's going to happen. I mean, especially with Glim Labo being really aggressive like this. So they have to go back to the roots. They have to go back to what was winning them the game, but unfortunately, I don't think Illumination Valiant is going to let them do that, as they've already seen what the true power is already there.
I mean, Ornn and Zyra didn't have your ult in that fight. There's more AoE that could have been brought in for damage. But no, they weren't even needed. Oh, it's like MF ult also coming in, but Renekton gonna be jumping onto the face of Orianna. Orianna only getting 2 for her ult that time, but she's gonna do the most with it as Warwick comes in, cleans up Caitlyn, along with Orianna taking a trundle. And it looks like Shen tried to jump into the enemy team to do something, but nothing gonna come from it, and Rai is gonna be ulting away from that fight as the lone survivor on Geynksters. The Geynksters being ganked themselves, and not what you like to see if you're a fan of them.
Well, the Geynksters tried to do something. They tried to catch out the Dens and Grim Labo, who were just sitting in the mid lane, but this time they weren't catching them out. They were catching themselves out, as they didn't see all the members of Illumination Valiant on the sidelines waiting for that to happen. So Illumination Valiant able to take down and hit maybe even a bottom in a turret, so not looking good for Geynksters, but otherwise Illumination Valiant getting what they exactly what they wanted.
Exactly, and what they wanted is 100% map pressure, which is what they're achieving with that inhib. But Renekton knows they have to do something, tries to jump in with the double swipe, but not gonna accomplish much. And we have 4 people on the bottom lane to clear a little wave. Not exactly the map pressure that you like to see if you want Geynksters to win. Both teams are 1-1, so this will really affect which side really comes in on top.
Illumination Valiant poised to take the second game of today. They played the first game earlier today against Frost Wolves, took home the victory, so they're looking to go a 2-0 week after this game, being poised to take home this game with an 7k gold lead over Geynksters, and they might be looking towards Baron for their next objective.
Seems like they're just trying to clear out vision. It's just more vision game. Last game it took 35 minutes for Baron to be taken. I'll see how close it can be now.
This is going to be a very explosive fight when it happens, because this Baron dance is going to be probably the ball that's going to be happening in this game. Because if Geynksters are going to be able to successfully get this Baron, it might lead them to be able to kind of stall for time, let them scale a little bit. But if Illumination Valiant are able to get this Baron, this might be the end of Geynksters for this game.
So what do you think Geynksters actually have to do to actually come back? As it is
they have to catch out Grim Lava, who's all by himself in this top lane right now, but it's gonna be that opportunity is now gone.
Back. Yep. It's still trying to clear the vision until, instead of hitting wards, you hit the enemy champions. That's when it'll be exciting.
And I do have to say, they have a
Baron will be hit. No. Not much gonna come from it.
Say that Geynksters are doing a really nice job of clearing the vision and gaining control of this Baron river, but unfortunately that can only go on for so long, as Illumination Valiant are all there now and they have control of the river.
Yeah, it seems like they're gonna finally start up the Baron. Looks like we have Shen, Trundle, and Caitlyn all back here right now. It's like Caitlyn completes her back and Trundle, but Shen gonna stay around. Baron gonna be down to 3,000 health. That was a bad time to recall, as they're gonna pay for it with the Baron, and that just might be it. Looks like they're not gonna reset, but they're gonna push towards top lane and try to get that one more tier 2 turret.
Yeah, I mean, they were looking very comfortable. Geynksters comfortable kills you, and that was basically what happened. They were comfortable with taking the vision, getting control, and then just trying something.
Dangerous.
Yeah, and
again, I see like a 4v5 as Trundle was on the opposite side of the map, and Caitlyn still thinking that she could protect that turret. Looks like it's a tower dive. Looks like we have Shen just jumping into 4 players. We're having to ult away, but MF ult gonna be in return, and that's gonna be Renekton falling because of it. Ornn ult coming down, Orianna ult coming out. It's like just so many ultimates, there's so much damage coming down on the side of Illumination. It's gonna be a flash fear for Warwick. Basically an insect, but on Warwick. That was a great play to make sure that Trundle stays near the enemy team to take him out. Looks like they have 2 waves pushing now. 2 Seer minions as well. And looks like Shen and Caitlyn, last 2 to try to protect their Nexus, but they're just gonna throw themselves at the enemy. And that's gonna be all she wrote for this game, as Illumination gonna be the ones coming out at around 31 minutes win. 12k gold lead.
Yeah, with Illumination taking home the 2-0 week, they're looking poised to probably reach for the top. And unfortunately for Geynksters, they're going to go back to the drawing board now 1-2. They're going to be trying to rebuild themselves, especially against the next game later this night against Fleet Street, who are looking very comfortable beating Vandal Nomad. So that might be a tough hill to battle, but otherwise, that's all. Yep, as you said, that's all she wrote.
Not what you can do about that. It seemed like they had to have Renekton get strong, and Renekton just didn't get strong enough. To look at this graph that is being shown to you, Orianna having so much damage on the enemies on their team, just so many great ultimates coming out from Orianna and MF comboing together. I just wonder if Geynksters actually was prepared for that at any point in the game.
Yeah, that first ulti from Fishing for Honor was a fake out. He had to make them think that he couldn't land Orianna ultis, and then surprise them by actually making really good ultis, and Fishing for Honor really performing out of his mind with those shockwaves, being able to hit many targets and the key targets that he needed to do. So really nice coming out from Fishing for Honor, but otherwise, it's just the entire team of Illumination Valiant being able to perform really well. Unfortunately, the Dens and Grim Labo did not have the best of performances, but they were still able to do lots of damage in the end.
Also very, very disappointing is we have on this graph, we're seeing all of Red Team having more damage than any of Geynksters roster other than Rise, being higher than Ornn and Warwick. It just shows the domination that Illumination had in team fights. Like you talked about in the beginning, whereas team fights versus 131, seems like team fight came out on top, which is what you believed would happen.
Yeah. And, well, that's all we can say about this game. Geynksters versus Illumination Valiant. We'll go over to Illumination Valiant for the 2-0 week. And otherwise, that will close out the night for the Bronze Silver League. But stay tuned because the Gold League will be arriving very soon with Out of Mana versus Vol. So we'll be switching over the cast to a few other casters. Primus being one that you've seen last week. And I think it'll be Sit Straight, but we'll have to check it out. But from Canadian and I, we thank you for tuning in. And do you have any last words, Canadian?
Thank you for having me on. It's my first time casting, so I know I messed up a whole bunch, but that's okay. It's a learning process for everyone.